Welcome to day 2 of 73, and today I'm going to be speaking on the importance of simplicity for consistency, especially when you're going on a journey as self-improvement. So to give context, my wife and I alternate each night as to who's going to put Haku to bed, and most recently, to give him more of, I'd say, control over how exactly that time is going, how long that time is going to take. We've been leaving the room slightly earlier than we would usually have when he was younger. And so one of the things that my wife does is reassure him that she's going to be back in 5 minutes as she leaves the room. Sometimes by the time she comes back, he's usually asleep, sometimes not, but it is the consistency of her letting him know what the time period is so that he is not surprised in essence as far as to what that entails. Now, why I bring that up is because of why I decided to make this format about 5 minutes each time during the night. So every day, especially as a parent, there are a lot of things that may come up. There are a lot of things that necessarily might blindside you into not being able to continue with whatever commitment that you might have had. And one of the things that has helped me is being able to understand that everything is made up of smaller units or smaller components of itself, whether it's fractal geometry, whether it's building a building, everything has its smaller components that you can be able to pass it down to should things get too complicated. Now, why I do bring that up is mainly because the journey that I've been taking as well with regards to self-improvements, quitting alcohol, and being able to be a better person myself is knowing how to pass that down and make it something that is manageable and is something that I can now be able to do on a daily basis. The 5 minutes for me isn't something that is too much of a stretch, nor is it something that is asking a lot of me. And also, it's not necessarily boring in that sense. And so I want it to be, and this journey be, something realistic, something that I can now be able to speak of as a microcosm of the journey itself that I'm taking. And it is naturally going to be something that can be fit into a day when things don't necessarily line up in the way that I would want them to. Now, as you can notice, my background isn't the one that was in the first video, and that's simply because the room that I would have recorded this in is right next to where Haku is going to bed. So naturally, there would have been some complications if I get too loud or if I'm rambling on for too long and he catches wind of that particular situation. It would be now difficult for me to be able to consistently come forward with this particular material. Now, understanding these first couple of videos, they're going to be rough around the edges. They're going to be inconsistent in a way of maybe the background changes, maybe I'm posting at a different time of the day, but the purpose is to make sure that those days are lining up next to each other. Now, sometimes one might find themselves in a rut of being too perfect in terms of what it is that they put out there, in the sense of, I don't know, today I was worried that the background would be the main thing as far as me not being able to be consistent. But I think what's more important that people do miss when you go on these journeys is being able to, I know one of my favorite authors, James Clear, he talks about doing 1% more every day in order to be able to improve that, or having something that consistently can come and you can pass down, that is something that is naturally able to be done without necessarily much effort or thought, but also does push you in a way where you can sense that some progress is being made. So what I would like to shed light on, especially when it comes to looking at oneself, is understanding that at any given juncture, as long as the intent is there for you to now know that whatever big, scary, or complex thing that you're looking at can be broken down to smaller components, then it is something that you can ultimately continue on and pat yourself on the back and make sure that you're feeling good about that. Now, I know this was a little different, but hopefully the message landed and it is something that you might give some thought to if you are going on your own journey, and let me know if it is something that you've given thought to as well previously. That is my cat, that is not my child, so that is a preface, okay? Thank you again for your time, and that is my 5.